Hi, everyone. Welcome to this very special conversation where we, two women, Aditii Swaarup and myself, with very diverse yet deeply connected journeys, dive into the emotional and mental challenges that Indian women face and how we can embrace healing, spirituality, and self love. I would like to just do a very brief introduction of myself. My name is Delnna Rrajesh, and I am a Reiki Grandmaster, spiritual coach, life coach, helping a lot of women with who undergo anxiety, toxic relationships, overcome through various healing modalities like tarot, numerology, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, and many, many more. Uh, I started my career as a corporate employee and having worked in the corporate for over 13 years, uh, I decided to take a break when I had my little one to be able to spend more time with him. And today we are going to discuss part of my journey. I'm going to share a part of my journey where from being a mid-management manager level, thriving corporate professional to a dip that I felt as a homemaker and mom, and how I bounced back, or the journey to coming back to entrepreneurship as a healer and mindset coach. And with us, we also have Aditii Swaarup. Aditii, I would love for you to share a little bit about yourself and your journey too.
Thank you so much, Delna, for having me for this conversation. Hi, guys. I am Aditi, and professionally, I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years, 15th year running. And initially, though I was working in FMCG industry, but life took its toll. I went through a downward spiral in my personal life where I got divorced. I have an estranged son. But even after all the circumstances which were negating with me, spirituality helped me restart my life from a fresh beginning. I restarted my entrepreneurial journey with a completely different topic that was teaching English and IELTS online. So, besides that, then I started growing in my career and I found love again. I recently got married and taking my second innings now. I believe all the journey that I have had a lot of resilience in me, and spirituality was the first and foremost tool that helped me survive. And that is why I think me and Delna can profoundly discuss these topics and enable women like us who are still struggling to find a ground, find and make spirituality as their tool to survive.
Lovely.
So,
Uh, Aditi, tell me now that because you have gone through such a how I would put it, you've gone through a certain cycle of overcoming a certain kind of struggle, and this is the struggle a lot of women today are facing. Uh, Going through toxic relationship, coming out of it, building yourself back. So, what do you think are the common struggles that most Indian women go through mentally and emotionally today?
I believe these struggles start from the childhood, specifically in India, because we live in a joint family structure.
Mhm.
So even though there are nuclear families existing, but the involvement of joint family remains the same.
Hmm.
So right from the childhood, the girls are expected to behave in a certain manner, agree to the terms and conditions laid by the family, and then as they grow up with their careers, with their friend circles, with their thought processes, every step of the way they have to prove themselves harder. And then when they finally settle down in a marital situation, even then they are being judged. Number one, they are uprooted from their existing family, and now they have to be rerouted into a completely different family structure, relearn all the etiquettes, all the mannerisms, all the rituals once again, along with balancing either completely giving up away their career, or struggling to balance between the career and the family life. And
Yes.
even in this digital era, things are still not being quite favorable, with mental health still being considered a taboo.
Wow.
We have problems at every step of the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But so Della, coming from this point where girls and women at every age are struggling to make their day, how has your journey been, transitioning from this corporate career, turning into a healer? Because obviously, just like any of us, you have had your shares of challenges. So, what happened? How did spirituality come in your life? And why did you decide to leave your job? And what happened? What's your story?
So, spirituality has always been a part of me. I became a, Reiki channel, I think at the age of 16 maybe, back in 2001. When I was just, I think I was in my first year of college, just out of my 10th grade. And we were a bunch of college kids. So one of our friends said that, my mom is a Reiki grandmaster. Do you want to try it? So all of us just, out of, just for curiosity's sake, we said, chalo, let's all go and do it, because we were all a big bunch of friends, and, it would be fun to do it. So all of us decided we'll do it. And I continued on my journey somehow. It was always a part of me. I would always practice. I would assist as well wherever possible. And I think that was my college time was a phase where, I was part of the Rotaract Club. So I would end up meeting a lot of people into spirituality. I was also in Bombay around Juhu. So there was Brahma Kumari was very active back there. Just behind my college, there was a center. So I would see a lot of ISKCON was very active. So we somehow I would end up meeting a lot of healers and spiritual people, always being in that circle. Uh, Never did I think of it कि मैं उसको इतना seriously कभी लूंगी. But yes, constantly being in that space also creates a certain how I would say it, awareness or aura around it. Uh, but when I hit, so I had my ups and downs, of course, like anyone. But when I hit my corporate, career, and I was really thriving. And I remember the point where I quit my job. I was 3 months away from promotion. And I was 3 months away from promotion. I was already doing very well. But I had a situation where, because my husband and I were both, professionals with very, how do I say, demanding work rules. One of us would need to take a dip, and my son was 1.5, and there was a phase where, because of this, lot of juggling and pressure, we couldn't make that much time, the time that was required. So we started seeing the difference in my son's behavior patterns. And because I've been into healing, and I had been into the space and awareness of all through, uh, I had seen a lot of people go through so much. And we were lucky enough that we spotted this, and even his daycare was very good. So they want us. And we understood that we had to do this. So I decided to put my papers and spend time with my son to sort of, undo what had been done maybe in that short period, and help him, sort of bounce back to his full vibrant self. Uh, but it took a toll on me. I went through emotionally, in that moment, I had no other choice. As a mother, I just took a call. But after having done that, and after having a 16 to 18 hour schedule, suddenly when I wake up and there's nothing to do, I felt so lonely and so hollow and so empty and so worthless. And the first 1 month was very happy, because I had time for shopping, I had time for so many different things that I never had otherwise. But after a month and 2 months and 3 months, it started sinking in. I started sort of not even realizing, but I started somewhere feeling that loss of self-worth, self-purpose. And it gripped me as years went by. And I really sank into a low, something I had never experienced in my life. Because somewhere for me, I have always been into career and profession so much that, we women, I mean, we compete, as you said, we compete with with men and women, we compete equally for so many years of our life, and we are groomed to thrive in school and college and your B school, and all of a sudden you are doing nothing after all that you know uh, grill. So my self-worth was attached to my job, not to the money, but to what I did and what I sort of brought
I
back.
understand.
Yeah. So I felt totally worthless, and I would just look at myself that, acha, main, I'm sitting and I'm just chatting with my neighbors, and I'm just waiting for a neighbor to come and say hello, because what else do you do? So, because we're used to a certain speed, so I would finish up my household stuff, and then the
Mm.
whole day seems to be empty and hollow. So that point, I decided ki I have to do something and I have to bounce back, and started applying for jobs, and then COVID happened. So again, the market was such. Um, and then that is where I decided to, and by then I had already, because I was at home, the one good thing I had done is, because I've been into healing and all for so long, I had completed my MSc in psychology. I finished that. While sitting at home for so many years, because my interest lies in psychology, and of course my son was also sort of affected. So as a mother, होता है ना बहुत जुनून से, बहुत सारा पेरेंटिंग पे करो, इस पे करो, उस पे, and then my interest was sort of growing deeper. So I sort of started specializing in different aspects of psychology. So I did my CBT specialization, then REBT. And piece by piece, I sort of started, getting certified and putting it all together for no reason, just like that, out of just, wanting to learn,
Curiosity.
curiosity. And then one fine day, I decided that, this is it. I want to, sort of start getting paid. I had done a lot of work for free. I used to just spend hours and hours and hours doing, because I love doing it. So, and then one fine day, I decided I'm going to start charging. And that's where my practice began. Um, and with my healing, 23 years of my healing experience, chakra, mudra, and yoga, breath work, all of that. When I put together psychology as a whole module, psychology, hypnotherapy, the mind science, um, it became a very good integrated holistic therapy package. And yeah, never stopped after that.
Wow. Delna, I have a few more follow-up questions with your story. First of all, it is with, I think, all us women that we do attach our self-worth with our job profile. Money may or may not be the matter for us, but yes. And then I think the most difficult job a lady does is as a homemaker.
True.
And that is where we are being asked, करती क्या हो सारा दिन? Right? So, how does spirituality help in realizing that your self-worth is not in what you do, but rather who you are? How would you define?
I would say there are two parts to this.
Mhm.
Anytime I look at any kind of healing, I'm very clear there are two, there are rather, I would say, three parts to this. There is occult, there is spirituality, and then there is your. So there is the karmic pattern, which comes from your numbers, from your from your number patterns, the numbers that you're born. As a numerologist, the first thing I see is ये मेरे strengths हैं, ये मेरे weaknesses हैं. Okay. When you
Mhm.
understand your core personality, automatically you will know that, sometimes you are so good at something and you just, miss seeing it. Okay.
Mhm.
So problem is ki I'm a fantastic, maybe, I'm a fantastic healer, but I want to attach myself worth to corporate career.
Mhm.
Okay. You may be a fantastic mother, but क्योंकि उस पे हमने amount नहीं लगाया है, you want to measure your success with your degrees, your corporate career, how cool you look as a mother, how socially savvy you are, and how many other women are. I know women have this, how many other women are giving you attention and dangling around you and noticing your presence and your charm. So we attach, sometimes we may be attaching our self worth to a point, or an area of our life which is clearly not our strength. For example, somebody's strength is, you're a great teacher, but you don't even see it because you don't know your numbers, or you don't know your hidden strengths. So that is one aspect of understand. When you understand your own core strengths and weaknesses, and then you know that, oh wow, I've done so well in this. There you can attach, that then you know that acha, automatically self-worth bump up ho jata hai when you are able to see, when you become conscious,
Correct.
aware of it, mindfully. Second aspect is the conscious mind. So सिर्फ energy work करने से and अपने strengths को समझने से also it's not going to uh, become so believable, because this whole self-worth has to become very believable for us, right? So the second aspect is the cognitive, the mindset, where you sit and rationally understand. All of us have wins, Aditi, all of us ऐसा हो नहीं सकता कि आपने अपनी 30 years की जर्नी में कुछ भी धमाकेदार नहीं किया. सो द प्रॉब्लम इज कि हम कभी बैठे नहीं खुद के साथ, और हमने कभी उसको एनालाइज नहीं किया, और उसको कभी हमने समझा नहीं कि यू नो व्हाट, आई हैव क्रॉस माउंटेन्स एंड आई हैव रीच्ड फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर. इवन वेयर आई स्टार्टेड, आई हैव डन दिस for this life, for my life, and for so many other people. So when you start, I did therapy myself, and I understood that, you know what, I am amazing. I have done so many things. I may not have been able to, continue my job and, thrive in one area of life, but I navigated a very beautiful path for my son. So what about the mother in me? What about that contribution? It's a life I've changed. Or, I mean, every mother does it, but it's a beautiful thing. And so does every father. So I'm not talking only here about the maternal side, but as an individual, when you understand your strengths. And then the third aspect is, as you said, the energy work. क्योंकि mind और वो सब समझने के बाद भी, when your chakras are not active, you're not going to be able to lift yourself up. It's like, मुझे सब कुछ करना है, लेकिन पेट्रोल ही नहीं है.
Then we procrastinate. Energy नहीं है.
Like आपने GPS लगा दिया, and you know your route, and you know your journey, and you know how many hours, and you've done everything else to make yourself comfortable in the journey. But there's no energy, there's no no petrol in the car. So you're not going to go forward.
I can relate to this.
That is your energy work. That's your inner work. That can happen with breath work and yoga and Reiki and mindfulness and all these other meditation. These are amazing techniques to lift your energy and unblock the chakra. Sometimes the chakras get blocked also when there's
Yes.
too much of toxicity, or when you're feeling very low and you're constantly in that environment. It may be possible that some chakra gets blocked, or maybe all the chakras or multiple chakras get blocked. So energy work is very essential. And for me, I think primarily Reiki was my core. It has always been my core pillar for life. I don't think I can sustain or survive. So everything that has happened in my life, I think I will give the credit to Reiki, and that is the one thing I held on to. So that's what has helped me sort of bounce back. A little bit of mindset work also, I will not disregard that. But a lot of energy work, understanding of my strengths, and then the mindset.
Another question that I had in mind was, like any other women, you were underplaying yourself by doing a lot of free service. We can obviously respect it as seva bhav. But at the end of the day, we need money to survive. What was that one point when you realized that I need to get paid? Because what I do is actually worth something. It is नहीं कि मेरे को पैसों का लालच नहीं है, but I am worthy of the energy exchange. वो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कैसा है? Because me being a business coach, I see this problem with a lot of women. उनके अंदर talent है, but they don't know how to monetize it, or they don't realize that they can monetize it. So ये monetization वाला shift आपको कैसे feel हुआ, और how did you go about?
See, undervaluing, there are two aspects to it, and luckily I didn't have one of them. So as a professional, I was very amazingly upfront. I do my work because organizations are very good in that way. They give you a framework. You tick these 5 boxes and you get promoted, right? You tick these 5 boxes and you get a exceeds expectation. So it's very clear. You know exactly what you have to do, and you know exactly what,
Guideline है.
right? So उसमें क्या होता है कि एक आसानी हो जाती है. Now you can't over pitch because इतना ही मिलेगा. So you're going to pitch for exactly what the organization has given you as a guideline. That is what does not happen with entrepreneurs, because you don't know what is your guideline only in the first place. You don't know how much you can pitch for, and that is where your self-worth comes from. I mean, that is where that's all about your deservability. And but job mein wo nahi hota hai. So for all my life, I was in this thing, in the corporate. I never had that challenge. I used to think, मैंने अपना काम किया, I am due for promotion because I already over delivered. So I never had a problem going and asking for it. But you know what? My mindset was ki, the second problem, which again a lot of mothers have when they take a career break, is for all our life we have been studying. And for all our life, we have been comparing and competing with the men and the women of the world. And you associate yourself with that job and that career. And you see, इधर से पैसा आएगा कि मेरा सेवा work. Okay, so we all have amazing skills. There are women who are very good cooks. There are women who do rangoli very well. There may be very good educators. Like, a lot of moms realize that when they start teaching, they may know, oh my God, I make a fantastic teacher and coach. But ये तो मेरा motherhood है और वो मेरा career है. ये तो मेरा हाउसवाइफ वाला पार्ट है और वो मेरा करियर है. आई एम ग्रेट विद बेकिंग, बट बेकिंग इज फॉर फैमिली एंड money comes from there. So what happens is, this is like a dual mindset. Your self-worth is still attached to that activity that you did in the past. So this is for me, that I always believe कि पैसे के लिए corporate and बाकी सब सेवा work. So because I always thought that some point of time I will bounce back, I will go back to the corporate, I will get into a very high leading senior management position. तो इसके लिए थोड़ी कोई, and my mother would also say, बात करने के लिए थोड़ी भी पैसा लेता है as a psychologist, because that's how we were all groomed कि, yeah, come on, if somebody is, someone is struggling, forget whatever work you did as a coach, कितने आपने degrees करी, कितना आपने specialize किया, कितने clients के साथ work किया, all that expertise is all okay. But यार बात करने के लिए थोड़ी आप, human being, you should help others. So I always had that theory in my head that I'm a human. Somebody is in trouble, I should help. How can I charge for that? But then I realized, as I was doing a lot of my courses, I realized I was paying a bomb to amazing mentors that helped me be who I was. And when I was paying a bomb, there was a point of time, because I was not earning. So there was a point of time where I hit rock bottom of my savings as well. And I realized, if I stop charging and I keep doing this, I'm going to drain myself out. I'm going to keep, and after a point of giving, you start feeling a little empty, and you start wondering, if my family is also getting affected, I'm robbing them of the time that I could give them, right? So as a coach, you start wondering, if I'm not going to give this time to my family, because I have this kind of expertise and I have changed so many lives, I deserve to charge for it. And that is where that transition happened for me. It was not like a moment. It happened over a period of time. So I would keep getting amazing testimonials and not know what to do with it. And then I realized, no, I have invested in amazing coaches. I've invested in my education. I've invested in getting expertise and getting trained in, and I'm able to bring about results. So if I can go to a therapist and pay for the transition that I desire to have in my life, I'm sure I'm worthy enough. If I can bring a person who's completely suicidal to come to a point where she says, today I want to empower 1,000 women, then that is something, that there must be something my mentors have done for me. And I deserve to be also remunerated for that time and energy and
Absolutely.
insight that I'm providing. So it happened over a slow period, but I would suggest all women, please don't tie your self-worth to any one thing. Please look at all your skills holistically, because and that's a
Absolutely.
personal mistake. And second thing, for those women who are into corporate, it's easier to map it. But for those women who are already, who are from the beginning entrepreneurs, it becomes very difficult to associate or plan or understand where is your starting point and who you compare yourself with. So I would say, please start comparing yourself with someone who's already 3 levels above, because when you do that, you will start aiming for that and you will get there very soon. So
Good.
imagine, if you're already, if you're charging, say 500 for a particular thing, think about it. Tomorrow onwards, I want to start charging 1,500 for this. What is the value I will? What is the value I will give if I have to do this? because you can't charge unless you deliver that value. So when you start
Hmm.
thinking कि यहाँ से मुझे यहाँ जाना है, and if I want to charge this, what is the extra amount of value I will deliver? What will I do? Bring yourself up, pull yourself up, learn, study, understand your niche, your industry, work your way up, and you will get there very soon.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
That's really great. Insightful.
Yes. So Aditi,
I for once I wanted to tell you this thing. As a very young girl, मैं तब भी यही बोलती थी, मुझे ना बात करने का पैसा चाहिए.
awesome.
When
I love
you said ना बात करने को कौन, मैं बचपन से ये डिजाइन करती थी, मुझे बात करने का पैसा चाहिए क्योंकि मुझे बात करना बहुत पसंद है. So ask me.
it.
You
Amazing.
say so.
Whatever is our skill, we must, it is worthy, right? So, Aditi, I want to understand, you have come through a very tough phase, and a lot of women today are in India are struggling through this, navigating a toxic marriage, the divorce process. Divorce is itself a whole journey. And, how did spirituality help you, or how did you find your courage to sort of navigate your way through this and bounce back so powerfully?
See, a lot of experiences have interwoven into the whole story.
Okay.
So I even had a very tough childhood living in a joint family setup, which was absolutely toxic. Then transitioning into a nuclear family where we all were like clueless, ab kya? Then getting into that toxic marriage. But one thing, I think I'm blessed that I was born into a very religious family. We are Brahmins, but my maternal family has always been into a lot of prayers. I used to see my uncles and aunts always praying. So praying was something which was imbibed in me even before I understood the power.
Okay.
So bachpan se hi, mantra chanting and chalisa and art, that was always a ritual in life. You start your day with prayer, you end it with prayer.
Right.
And as I grew up, that became much more of a strength because obviously I was intrigued by the astrological part. My masi, uncles, everyone was deeply rooted into astrology and lal kitab and stuff. So एक होता था कैसे बता देते हैं फ्यूचर, कैसे पता चलता है. Started exploring it. I started learning it with them.
Hmm.
So I started understanding my planetary position,
Wow.
and I knew that I am facing Rahu.
How old were you at that time?
I think I was a teenager. I was in school.
Wow.
I started learning bit by bit, and I just kept focusing on my own chart to understand my positives and negatives.
Hmm.
Because challenges तो आते ही रहते थे.
True.
One after the another, I have faced a curveball, and probably that has been probably a karmic challenge my soul took. कि इस लाइफ में सारे छक्के चौके अभी मारने हैं. तो one after the other वो था. And then because I was aligned on that thing, spirituality found me. मेरे रेकी सर कहते हैं कि आप रेकी को नहीं ढूंढते, रेकी आपको ढूंढती है. रेकी विल चूज यू, रेकी विल कम टू यू योर सेल्फ. एंड सेम थिंग हैपेंड विद मी विद स्पिरिचुअलिटी. जब मैं एकदम डम्प्स में थी बिकॉज 3.5 साल का बेटा था मेरा जिसको मैंने देखा नहीं, मेरे को एकदम से घर से निकाल दिया, एकदम वो टॉक्सिक डाइवोर्स वाला पैटर्न सब स्टार्ट हुआ. टिपिकल डेलियाइट लड़की, इतनी आउट गोइंग लाइवली एंटरप्रेन्योर, एंड सडनली मेरे को रोहतक जैसे छोटे से टाउन में जहाँ मुझे लैंग्वेज भी समझ नहीं आती थी वहां डाल दिया गया. और बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली जब आपका डाइवोर्स वाला सीन होता है ना, आप थोड़े से हिचक जाते हो लोगों से बात करने में. आपको एक वो आ जाता है कि क्या बोलूंगी, एक झिझक आ जाती है. तो उस कमरे में रहना और उसी टाइम पे लॉकडाउन का आ जाना, एंड यू नो कि यू आर एट जीरो एंड यू नीड टू अर्न ऑल्सो. And gradually I found people, I used to keep talking to people because people told me कि you do not have to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, क्योंकि अभी डाइवोर्स केस है, बच्चे का बैटल है, वो लोग तुम्हें पागल बोल देंगे एंड कस्टडी चली जाएगी. सो डू नॉट टेक एनी हेल्प. और आई वॉज ऑलवेज अवेयर ऑफ मेंटल हेल्थ. सेल्फ लव मेरा थोड़ा ज्यादा रहा है, तो मैं खुद की सर्दी खांसी जुकाम को भी बहुत सेंसिटिवली लिया है हमेशा. अब कुछ नहीं कर सकते तो क्या करूं. देन मेरे को पता चला कि माइंडफुलनेस भी कोई चीज है, एफर्मेशंस कोई चीज है. धीरे धीरे स्क्रॉल करते गए, लोगों से बात करते गए. देन आई स्टार्टेड my affirmations and tarot found me.
Wow.
And tarot was like a, a friend called me, यार मैं ना टैरो सीखना चाहती हूँ, तू भी मेरे साथ सीखेगी, बड़ा मजा आएगा. एंड आई लाइक ठीक है. मेरे को ये भी नहीं पता था टैरो होता क्या है, क्योंकि एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल बैकग्राउंड था ना. तो आप मुझसे दुर्गा सप्तशती बोलो, मैं पूरा संस्कृत में रिसाइट कर दूंगी. ठीक है. बट अब ये क्या चीज है, एंड उसके बाद देयर वाज नो लुकिंग बैक. टैरो के बाद आई डोंट नो व्हाट चेंज्ड इन माय लाइफ, विजन ही बदल गया. एंड आई स्टार्टेड सीकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ गाइडेंस. मैंने सेल्फ रीडिंग बहुत करा अपने लिए बिफोर आई स्टार्टेड प्रैक्टिसिंग एज अ पेड प्रोफेशन. मैंने अपने लिए उस गाइडेंस टूल को इतना यूटिलाइज ओवर यूटिलाइज करा है कि गलत होते हुए भी चीजें सही होने लग गई थी. ना आई सॉ दैट. अगर मुझे जब पता होता था ना कार्ड से पूछ के कि आज के मेरे क्या चैलेंजेस एंड हाउ आई एम गोइंग टू डील विद देम, वो माइंडसेट मेरा सेट रहता था कि आज ये चैलेंज हो सकता है, तो आज इस तरीके से ही अदिति बिहेव करना है, आज डिसीजन नहीं लेना है, आज ऐसे. एंड थिंग्स वर एक्चुअली शोइंग अप फॉर मी. नेवरदलेस डेस्टिनी आप नहीं चेंज कर सकते. वो डाइवोर्स होना था, बच्चे के साथ सेपरेशन लिखा है, वो मेरा कार्मिक है. मेरे बेटे और मेरे दोनों का अगर नेटल चार्ट पढ़ो पढ़ो तो हमने वो कार्मिक लिया हुआ है. हमने वो अलग रहना है कुछ टाइम के लिए, तो वो काटना पड़ेगा वनवास. बट विद दैट स्पिरिचुअलिटी आई गेन्ड विजडम. एंड देन रेकी, अनदर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, उसके फादर स्टार्टेड रेकी एंड देन ही टोल्ड मी कि यू हैव टू डू इट एंड यू विल डू इट फ्रॉम माई कोच. एंड क्योंकि वो अंकल है और बेस्ट फ्रेंड के फादर, उनको तो मना कर ही नहीं सकते. यस बॉस. एंड इवन माई रेकी गुरु टोल्ड मी कि आई नेवर थॉट यू विल कंटिन्यू विद द लेवल्स, बिकॉज बहुत फास्ट पेस्ड इंसान हो तुम. रेकी बहुत ही सोबर और स्थिरता है. मेरे को नहीं लगा था कि तुम कर पाओगी, बट आई एम अमेज्ड कि यू डिड योर ग्रैंड मास्टर लेवल. एंड विद रेकी I think clarity अलग लेवल की आ गई लाइफ. It was no more about winning or losing. It was about serenity, surrender, serenity, and channelizing your inner strength. And life changed. That's my story.
Okay. I want to ask you, अभी ना you आपने एक बहुत beautiful सा कहा, जब आप divorce, and because I deal with a lot of such cases and I know this, but luckily for them they have already overcome that step and they have come to a therapist, which is where their journey with me begins. But ये एक बहुत solid point है, you know, the lawyers will tell you, uh, first of all you are broken, you are shattered, you don't have, you know, ऐसे लगता है कि जमीन uh, पैरों के
You're
नीचे.
almost dead. You're a walking dead. You're a zombie in that phase.
तब
And
हम,
you literally need mental health. You
हाँ.
literally need coaches.
So do you really feel कि वो even today cases are manipulated like that and women
Yes.
cannot go for mental health? Oh, okay, all right.
I would say I'm a proud Indian. I literally love my country, but the legal system is one of the most wasteful things we have in our country. It's good for nothing, neither the police officers, nor the lawyers, nor the judges. I have been there, I've been to the High Court. I have a written form that my son is comfortable with me and should be given to me. And I haven't seen my son in like 5 years now. So, cases are manipulated. एंड आई थिंक इट इज नॉट अबाउट कि केस चल रहा है तभी आपको मेंटल हेल्थ की जरूरत है. आपको अगर पहले लग रहा है कि आपके रिलेशनशिप में प्रॉब्लम्स है, सीक अ काउंसलर, टॉक टू अ प्रोफेशनल. बिकॉज ऐसा होता है ना, हस्बैंड वाइफ या इवन फ्रेंड्स या पेरेंट्स, किसी के भी साथ आप अगर किसी को समझाना चाह रहे हो कि यार मेरे को ना ये प्रॉब्लम है, सामने वाला या तो आपको बोल देगा यू आर टॉकिंग रबिश, या वो एकदम ही आपकी फीलिंग्स को इग्नोर कर देगा, बिकॉज दे आर नॉट केपेबल टू प्रोसेस देम बिकॉज ऑफ देयर ओन मेंटल बैरियर्स. तो इफ एनी ऑफ द रिलेशनशिप इज स्ट्रगलिंग, चाहे इट इज विद योर सेल्फ, चाहे इट इज विद योर लव वंस, इफ द रिलेशनशिप इज स्ट्रगलिंग यू शुड सीक काउंसलिंग. क्योंकि अगर आप दोनों इतने समझदार होते कि रिलेशनशिप स्मूथ चला सकते, तो हिकअप्स नहीं होते ना. हिकअप्स का मतलब है कि कहीं पर कुछ ऑयलिंग की जरूरत है. दैट ऑयलिंग कैन ओनली बी डन बाय अ प्रोफेशनल. या तो सारे के सारे लोग दुनिया में इतने सेल्फ अवेयर हो जाएं, लाइक डेल्ना यू एंड मी, हम लोगों का इतना स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी इज एजिंग. I have been into it for almost more than half a decade now. You have been like 2 decades almost, right? उसके बाद भी there are places where we hit the rock bottom and we really need to win, right? तो नॉर्मल लोगों में कहाँ उतना कैपेसिटी है, उतना चाइल्डहुड ट्रॉमा और उतना लाइफ के चैलेंजेस को कि बिना प्रोफेशनल हेल्प या बिना अंडरस्टैंड करे लाइफ को स्मूथ, इट डजंट हैव.
You
तो
know,
मेंटल मैंने काउंसलिंग ली है, मैंने जहां से मुझे मिल सकी ना मैंने वहां से ली. मतलब अगर मुझे पता चला मेरे सर्कल में कोई एक ट्रेनर है, बिकॉज आई वाज लीडिंग अ टीम ऑफ ट्रेनर्स फॉर आईएलटीएस, एक ट्रेनर है जिसने साइकोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड, आई स्पोक टू हर. कोई थेरेपिस्ट जैसे कोर्सेज कर, आई यूज टू स्पीक टू पीपल, आई यूज टू स्पीक माई हार्ट आउट कि कहीं से जहां से जो हेल्प मिल रही है ना उसे ले.
wow.
एंड इट वाज वन, आई थिंक, एक बस अपना सेल्फ लव था कि मुझे पता था आई नीड हेल्प, कहीं से तो मिलेगी. तो आई नेवर स्टॉप्ड आस्किंग फॉर हेल्प. एंड देन आई रियलाइज कि
You
ठीक
know,
है, आई केम टू अ पॉइंट वेयर आई एक्सेप्ट.
this is something very beautiful. You have जहां से help मिले वहां से लेनी चाहिए. And yet at the same time, आपको अगर it is like this, I share with my clients also. अगर आपको छोटी सी चोट लगती है तो सेल्फ हेल्प की बैंडेड लगा सकते हो. लेकिन अगर एक्सीडेंट हो रहा है, then you need to go to your doctor.
Yes,
Then you need to go to
absolutely.
who will help you, and you will heal quicker and faster. So, as for all the lovely women, Aditi has shared a very beautiful tip. Please, आपके आसपास look around you, will have people around you who are equipped, who are capable. थोड़ा सा आप conscious mindful रहेंगे, you will be able to grab help the way she has done. If you are facing a situation like that, I would say don't wait for the divorce to happen. Grab help far before that, so you know maybe there is a chance you may be able to turn that relationship around even positively. And if it's not, then uh, well,
At
that's
least it would be respectful. अगर if even if you have to part ways, then why divorce battles are toxic is because दोनों लोग मेंटली इतना स्ट्रगल कर रहे हो, फिर टू एड फ्यूल टू द फायर आर द पेरेंट्स एंड द एक्सटर्नल फैमिलीज एंड दीज लॉयर्स आर द, ओ गॉड, ये आपको इतना नेगेटिवली इन्फोर्स कर देते हैं ना कि यू प्ले डर्टी. तो बेटर है गो टू अ काउंसलर. अगर इफ यू कैन कम टू अ पॉजिटिव आउटकम, गुड एनफ, बिल्ड दैट. और अगर आपको पता है कि नहीं यार हम दोनों के रास्ते ही अलग हैं, तो म्यूचुअली peacefully you can separate ways, isn't it?
yes, that's another
Okay.
beautiful bulwark. Divorce does not have to be nasty. Divorce does not have to be a battle. It does not have to be playing dirty. Just because a lawyer is getting paid for doing his job,
Absolutely.
do not give them the power to manipulate. Like we can always, as individuals, each one of us always has a choice, and we have a choice. We have the power to access it and say, let's do uh, जोड़ना या तोड़ना जो भी है with respect, grace,
With respect.
and blessings.
So, Delna, now let's talk about self-love. Because I think that is, for me, self-love was the foundation of my being. I love myself to the core, and that is why I've always been vigilant. But how do women realize, like, what is self-love, how to imbibe it, and how to nurture it?
So self-love is a very, I would say it's a very broad term. આજકાલ it is so abused. Everything is self-love. And I see these teenagers when they come to me, they say, oh, ma'am, I love myself. And I bought myself this teddy bear. I went to, even at that point of time, where we used to believe for some people, at that point of time also, us zamane mein bhi, people used to believe going to Archie's and buying a greeting card for yourself is self-love. Buying a mug, a cute mug for yourself is self-love. Buying yourself a candy or and I see so many women who, people, especially women who are struggling with toxic relationships, low self-worth, discoverability issues. I will see them going to, shop, buying a whole tub of ice cream when they're putting on weight and they have body image, already वो body image issue चल रहा है. They're already low in their self-esteem. They want to work out. So they in their head they say, "Ma'am, morning mein I will go to the gym." But in the evening, in the name of self-help, you are buying a tub of ice cream and you are watching Netflix till 3 in the morning, and that is not self-love.
Not at all.
That is not self-love. Self-love begins with self-respect, my dear. सेल्फ लव बिगिंस विद, अगर आप खुद के जो आपके मन में है, आपकी खुद की वर्ड की, आपके थॉट की आप इज्जत नहीं कर सकते हो, आपके डिजायर की आप इज्जत नहीं कर सकते हो. एंड फॉर योर सेल्फ, वेन यू आर अमंगस्ट 5 people, इफ यू कैन नॉट स्टैंड अप फॉर योर सेल्फ, stand up for your belief, or forget standing up, you can't even protect or shield yourself from the a lot of people try to pull you down when especially during these tough phases. अगर आप खुद के लिए उस वक्त भी खड़े नहीं हो पा रहे हो, there is no there is it's there is no self love here. So self love का जो foundation है, it begins with understanding who am I, what do I want, what do I stand for. A lot of people cannot love themselves because they don't know only what it means to be themselves. मैं कौन हूँ
Hmm.
मुझे पता ही नहीं है. How can I love myself for that?
True that.
So if I ask a lot of women, what do you love? If I have to tell you 5 things that you love about yourself, when the question of who am I, that self itself is very, very vague. When you don't understand who you are, when I say who you are means, each one of us stands for a virtue. हमने कुछ तो powerful किया होगा. There must be some authenticity. There are certain things all of us believe in, whoever we are. So what is that we believe in? What do I stand for? What do I believe? What is it that I cannot take totally? What is it that I totally detest? I will not tolerate. आप अगर वो समझ ही नहीं पाते हो, then how will you stand up for yourself? So people get kicked, men, women, both. Football of everybody's opinion, because we are clueless about who we are. हमें गोल ही नहीं पता है. हमें यही नहीं पता है हम कौन सी टीम में हैं in the first place. We don't know who we are only. So it begins with that, and slowly, we build as we understand with clarity who we are, what we stand for. We start standing up for it, standing up for who you are, and being open to, being able to openly express it. This is me. This is what I believe in. This is what matters to me. And then you start building the journey. ये तो self existence, self acceptance वाला level है. So first comes clarity, then comes acceptance, then comes courage. क्योंकि एक्सेप्टेंस भी इनफ नहीं होता है. उस एक्सेप्टेंस को वर्बलाइज करके एक्सप्रेस करने के लिए यू रिक्वायर करेज. देन देयर इज सेल्फ एक्सप्रेशन. And when you start expressing yourself and what you stand for, what you believe in, then you start aiming higher and start targeting to live that dream that you think, you believe, you desire to live, conquer, achieve. That journey, that step from self-expression to living the dream life, that is true self-love. It's a journey. It's an entire band.
Such beautifully put. And I think everyone should understand this journey because, as you said, buying a tub of ice cream is not self-love at all. We need to set, we need to set the record right, and we need to actually sit with ourselves to discover ourselves, isn't it? So, this has been a wonderful conversation, I would say, Delna. What is that one thing, one pressing question that is there in your mind nowadays, which you're exploring and you want to share it with your audience, जो अभी right now you just want to explore and want others to learn?
Okay. I would say for every woman, the one thing that we need to learn is emotional resilience.
Ah, yes,
Okay. And
insightful.
if unfortunately you are in a state where you are going through something, a very toxic phase of your life, Only emotional resilience is not enough. You need financial freedom.
True.
So, emotional resilience and financial freedom. And to achieve that, you need a lot of grit. You need a lot of determination. You need a lot of grit. You need to be high on energy and a
Absolutely.
good mentor to be able to help you do that. So, it's not worth it struggling alone. It's really not worth it. So I'm not saying that
Not at all.
go to a paid therapist or a paid, but make sure whoever you pick is equipped to help you. Don't go to a
Hmm.
carpenter for a doctor's job. It's not going to help,
True that.
right? So grit, energy work, something like Reiki or any kind, whatever spirituality, whatever energy work works for you, and a good mentor who is equipped to truly help you to build that emotional resilience, to build that financial freedom. Uh, with that, Aditi, what do you think? What are your, giveaways for the day? What should women have?
I would like to first add to what you said because in my case, yes, I have had a mentor since I was 21 who has always been my backbone every time I faced a roadblock. Grit and determination, it has always been the essence of me. करना है तो करना है, ना तो है try तो करो, and then give it your 100% and you achieve. And lastly, that close knit circle of valuable people who are equipped to help you. Because friends में क्या होता है ना, अगर if you talk to random friends, वो आपकी हाँ में हाँ मिलाए. वो जैसे स्कूल में होता था ना, ओके तेरा दुश्मन मेरा दुश्मन टाइप्स. But when you actually have people with matching wavelengths and understanding of the situation, they make a very good network for you. That whenever you're falling back, you have an accountability partner to hold you accountable as well and to keep you on the right track. It has always been. Lastly, yes, financial freedom is something which is a must for everyone, irrespective of the gender. And nowadays, I would say even youngsters should focus on building that wealth, not depending on parents' accumulated values. You have to focus on building yourself because while you are actually making yourself capable to earn and finding your financial freedom, you also get a lot of time to discover your strengths and work with yourself. So be your best friend first and then find friends in others because once you know yourself, you will also know किसके साथ value match कर रहा है तो this person is the right person to bring in your circle ताकि एक और एक 11 हो ना कि मस्करी में time waste. So build that circle, know yourself, know your circle well and have a goal. एंड गोल की क्लैरिटी सिर्फ और सिर्फ आई थिंक स्पिरिचुअलिटी से आती होती है. आप जितने मर्जी गोल्स डिसाइड कर लो,
True.
गोल्स कुड बी मटेरियलिस्टिक बट जो एक लाइफ गोल होता है ना वो अंदर से आता है. व्हाट यू आर मेड फॉर, व्हाई डिड यू आर व्हाई इज दिस जर्नी, व्हाई डिड यू टेक बर्थ ऑन दिस प्लैनेट एंड व्हाट विल यू लीव व्हेन यू गो. वो लाइफ गोल आपको उतना ही इनर वर्क से आएगा. So Reiki has been a strength for me and even before that meditation मैंने काफी टाइम पहले स्टार्ट करा था जब मुझे Reiki नहीं भी पता था. तो I used to make sure that yes I am meditating. वो मुझे me time चाहिए होता है आज भी. तो imbibe these little little practices in your day. Hardly 30 minutes 40 minutes लगता है कि just wake up a little early and spend that time with yourself. सुबह सुबह का time should be yours so that you can plan your day ahead. And challenges है, अटेम्प्ट करो, पास हो जाएंगे.
Yes. And this is
Isn't
another
it?
very beautiful point you made, Aditi. Making time for yourself. This is something that women don't do, especially when you're feeling low in self-esteem. I know this is the time where most women take a dip and they will put everyone and everything, even meaningless tasks that I'm not saying any task is meaningless, but tasks that don't really add value to your life. Those tasks also, I've seen a lot of women putting them above
Hmm.
that 30 minutes of meditation, which can actually navigate and help you bounce back out of this situation. So, अगर आप खुद के लिए इतना भी नहीं कर सकते तो don't expect anyone else is going to stand up for you and do anything for you. That is a journey you have to take and you have to decide you're worth it. Those 30 minutes that Aditi says, 30 minutes jaldi उठ के हम खुद के लिए, that is something you owe to your own life, right?
It's a must. So I think Delna, conversation भी बहुत कुछ है डिस्कस करने को. We will
Yes,
meet again, discuss another topic again.
absolutely, Aditi.
So yes, for
Thank
today we'll make
you.
it a wrap.
Yes, thank you so much for agreeing to come at such a short notice and sharing your insights. I would want to do an entirely separate episode with you on this journey of the way you express this journey of grit as a woman. Um,
Definitely.
the journey of going through the divorce and bouncing back, how you found your strength financially. And I know that you're working with a lot of women, empowering them financially today, because I know somewhere deep inside, I know your understory. So I know what you went through, what you felt in your heart, when you were building yourself, and today you're working with so many women, giving them a very beautiful platform to so that they don't have to go through what you went through. So I'm going to cover that story next time. But until then, for the viewers, I would say please go through each part of this beautiful convo with Aditi and me, and do share your takeaways from this in the comments below. And we will come back soon with a lot of other insightful inputs. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.